Good day, one and all. Welcome to the first lecture of Module 5 on the course ME368 Marketing Management offered to the 6th semester mechanical engineering students. Now, in this module, Module 5, we'll be dealing with marketing communication, the various tools used for marketing communication, and communication process in general. So this particular module will be divided into 3 lectures. The first lecture, I'll give you an overview as to what marketing communication is, and we'll talk about a concept called marketing communication mix, and we'll also discuss 2 tools that are part of the marketing communication mix. We'll talk about advertising and sales promotion. In lecture 2 and 3, we'll be dealing with the remainder of the marketing communication tools. And in the last lecture, lecture number 3, we'll also be dealing with communication processes in general. So with that, let me start off with the very first lecture. So marketing communication it forms one of the 4 important elements of the marketing mix. The 4 important elements of the marketing mix are the product, price, place, and finally the 4th P, promotion. And promotion of products and services manufactured or made by a company requires some amount of communication. So marketing communication is one of the 4 elements of the marketing mix, or the 4 P's of marketing mix. And communication in an organization takes place within the organization or between the organization and external parties. So the external form of communication that can generally take place between the organization and its intermediaries, the organization and the consumers, and the organization and the general public. So the communication in general can take place with different entities. It can be with the intermediaries of the company, it can be with the consumers of the company, or it can be with the general public. And marketing communication can be simply defined as the process adopted by companies for conveying messages about its products and offerings either directly or indirectly to the consumers with the intention of persuading them to make a purchase. So to summarize it, marketing communication is nothing but a set of processes used by the company for conveying messages about its products to the consumers, and this particular communication process is done with the intention of persuading consumers to make a purchase or make a buy. So this particular marketing communication is very vital to the organization because it makes the consumers aware about a company's offerings of products or services, and also marketing communication is vital in building and maintaining consumer relations. So marketing communication, that is one of the 4 P's of the marketing mix, is a very, very important element. And this particular marketing communication can be effected or it can be put into practice by using various tools. Some of the common marketing communication tools used are advertising, sales promotion, personal selling, public relations, and direct marketing. So in the coming slides, we would be concentrating our efforts upon understanding the very first 2 tools, that is advertising and sales promotion, that help in marketing communication. Now, before going into the details of the various marketing communication tools, let me discuss the concept of a market communication system and a marketing communication mix. Now, marketing communication mix is a specific blend or a combination of communication tools used by a company to pursue its marketing objectives. So each company will have certain marketing objectives, and to achieve this particular marketing objectives, it uses certain communication tools. Now, the specific combination or blend of communication tools used specifically by a company to achieve and pursue its marketing objectives is referred to as a marketing communication mix. Now, this is very similar to a marketing mix. Okay, so marketing communication mix may involve tools like advertising, personal selling, sales promotion, direct marketing, public relations, etc. So all companies may not use all of these marketing communication tools. They might have their own choices for tools that they use for marketing communication. So a specific blend of these tools used by a company to achieve or pursue its marketing objectives is referred to as a marketing communication mix. Now, a marketing communication system, it consists of four major components. It has the company that is the source of all marketing communication. Generally, it's the source of all marketing communication. Then the second major element are the intermediaries. The third element is a consumer, and the fourth element is the public. So communication generally takes place between these four elements. So in a marketing communication system is essentially made up of these four elements: the company, the intermediaries, the consumers, and the public. So the company, it creates or it uses its own marketing communication mix to communicate the desired information either directly to the consumer or to the public. So the advertising, sales promotion, personal selling tools. So these marketing communication mix created by the company communicates the information to the intermediaries, consumers, or publics. So that is why you see the communication being done directly to the intermediaries, or the same set of communication tools or the marketing communication mix may be used to communicate the same information to the consumers directly or directly to the public. Now the intermediaries, they also use their own marketing communication mixes, and this particular marketing communication mix is generally targeted at informing the consumers about the products that they are involved in selling for the company. So the intermediaries also make their own marketing communication mix, and this marketing communication mix transfers the required information to the consumers, or it transfers it to the public. So the marketing communication system involves transfer of information or messages about the product by using marketing communication mixes. Now the company and its intermediaries may use different marketing communication mixes. So the marketing communication mix used by companies and their intermediaries need not be the same. So the information may be transferred from the company through its marketing communication mix to the intermediaries, to the consumers or the publics, and the intermediaries through their marketing communication mix transfer the information to the consumers or directly to the public. Now the consumers also communicate with the public. That's the fourth element in the marketing communication system. So the third element, that's a consumer, is also involved in communicating information to the fourth element, that's the public. And this direct communication is generally through word of mouth. Okay. Now the marketing communication system also involves a return flow of information. That is, flow of information not in the forward direction, that is from the company to the intermediaries, consumers or publics, but rather a return flow of information is also seen. It is generally in the form of feedback. Now the public, they can give feedbacks to the consumers, or they can give feedbacks to the company directly. Okay, so that's the feedback that is given. Consumers also can give feedbacks either to the company directly or to the intermediaries. And similarly, the intermediaries also transfer feedback from the consumers to the company. So there's always a return flow of information as well. Now I'll give you an example for a feedback. Now when consumers are involved in a purchasing process, they always look for feedbacks or opinions from other people. It might be family, friends, etc. So these family and friends, they form the general public. Or for example, a product that is deemed to be environmentally not clean and not safe for human consumption. So there might be certain environment groups that create awareness about the lack of environment sensitivity or environment conformness of that particular product. And this particular public group will influence the consumer when they think about buying that particular product. So such kinds of feedbacks or return movement of information from the users back to the company is also part of marketing communication system. Now we'll move on to the very first marketing communication tool, that is advertising. Now advertising is the very first tool that we're going to discuss, and it is one of the most important tools used by marketing firms for communication. So advertising is nothing but a process of communicating persuasive or convincing information about the product that is sold by a company to its target market by means of written, verbal, or visual material. So advertising being a marketing communication tool, it also is involved in communicating or transferring information about a particular product that a company sells. So they transfer or they communicate the message to the target market, the potential people who are going to buy that particular product, a set of potential people. So this particular transfer of information is done either in the written form. It might be through brochures, it might be through billboards, etc. It might be in the verbal form, like using a broadcast media like radio, or it might be in the visual form by in the means of hoardings, billboards, fluxes, or even broadcast media like television. So by using written, verbal, or visual material, you are trying to communicate convincing information about the product to the target market. And such a process is referred to as advertising. Now, advertising begins from market research. Market research, it helps you to understand your target market, what their needs are. It also helps you to understand who your competitors are, what are the strategies and the marketing communication tools that they use. So the data generated from market research, it helps to determine the correct type of advertising for a particular kind of product. All advertising media, like for some cases, a written form of advertising might be the right choice. In some cases, visual material might be much more impactful. So under each scenario, you might require a different kind of advertising for different products, and that can be only done. The right choice of the advertising tool, the right form of advertising can only be chosen once you have done the correct market research. Now, there are several functions of an advertising department in an organization. Some of the common functions are development and distribution of advertising material, preparation and control of advertising budgets, then preparation and supervision of sales promotional material, supervising advertising and market research activities, and also they are also involved in cooperation with sales and other departments. So sales promotion activities, the sales team, they have to cooperate with them. So these are the major functions that are carried out by the advertising department. Advertising is of importance to the consumers, to the sellers, and to the society. Now, how they become important to the consumers, sellers, and the society can be comprehended simply by taking these examples into consideration. Now, take the case of customers. Customers will be aware of their choices of products only when they are made aware of their choices, and this awareness can be created through advertisements. So advertisements helps people become aware of their choices, aware of the choices that they have to solve their problems or to satisfy their needs. So that is how advertising becomes important to the consumers. It is a means of making consumers aware of their choices. Now, advertising, at the same time that it makes consumers aware of their choices, it also helps the sellers and companies that are producing the product. Making consumers aware of their choices will give a company a chance for their products to be tried by the consumers. And if the products are accepted by the consumers after the trial, it will lead to regular purchase. So advertising helps make people aware of new products of a company, and then once they are aware, they will generally come and try out their product. So this will generally help the companies and the sellers producing the products to sell their products. A manufacturer can also use advertising to face marketing competition, to differentiate, to communicate information about their products that differentiate their products from their competitors or other offerings in the market. And they can also use this as a means or a tool to make their products popular. Advertising at the same time is also important to society. They help in educating people. There are some common issues that advertising also deals with, like child labor, liquor consumption, smoking, family planning, education, etc. So advertising also, it also plays a very important role for making consumers for making the society aware of certain social concerns or social issues. So educating people can also be done through advertising. So it is also important to society. So the importance of advertising is threefold. It is important to the consumers at the primary level. It is of importance to the seller and the company that produces the product at the secondary level. And it is also important to educate the society or educate the people in the society about certain relevant social issues. So it is at the third level, it is important to society as well. So before going into the different types of advertising, I would like to discuss a term called publicity. Now, this is a term that is most commonly used uh, in marketing communication. Now, publicity refers to indirect advertising, okay, where the news about a product or a service is planted in the communication media like paper, radio, television, journals, etc. So an example for publicity would be the case of a news about an environmentally friendly product coming or being published in a newspaper or being discussed in radio or television. So such kinds of indirect advertising where news about a product is planted in the communication media as news. Such kinds of indirect advertising is what we generally refer to as publicity. Now coming to the different types of advertising. Now, based upon the media used for advertising, there are different types. The very first and the most common kind of advertising that is seen is the print advertising, in which you see the advertising in print media like newspapers, magazines, etc. Or it might be in the form of brochures and flyers. So such kinds of advertisement is referred to as print advertising. The second kind is ones that is a set of advertising techniques that use broadcast media. So an example would be advertisement that done through broadcast media like radio, television. So commercials that are aired through radio, through television, etc. So when compared to print advertising, broadcast advertising has a wider audience. Print advertising is generally limited by the number of people who view them, whereas when you come to broadcast advertising, the audience is still wider because there is more viewership for commercial broadcast media like radio, television, etc. The third kind of advertising is outdoor advertising, in which the advertising is carried out through means of billboards, hoardings, posters, fluxes, which are placed outdoors. Now, another example for outdoor advertising is through trade fairs and exhibitions. They are also considered to be means of outdoor advertising. The fourth kind of advertising is called as direct marketing. It is not specifically a kind of advertising, but in certain cases it's put under advertising. And here the advertising is done through direct postal mail, telephonic calls or messages, and even on advertising. The final kind is called as covert advertising, and in covert advertising, the product or a brand is generally incorporated in some form of entertainment like movies, TV shows, sports, games, etc. An example for covert advertising is the case of Rolex sponsoring the French Open tennis tournament. So when this particular French Open tennis tournament is broadcasted over the television across the world, you see this particular brand, the symbol and the name of this brand coming up when it is being broadcasted. So that kind of an advertising is referred to as covert advertising, where the product, the news about a product or a service is basically baked into some form of entertainment. Another example would be take the case of the brand Aston Martin. Now, the brand Aston Martin is closely linked with the series of movies called James Bond movies. So, the series of James Bond movies is closely associated with Aston Martin. So such kinds of advertising where the product or a brand is incorporated into some form of entertainment like movies, shows, sports, games, etc. Such kinds of advertising would be referred to as covert advertising. So the different types of advertising that are most commonly seen are the print advertising, the broadcast advertising, outdoor advertising, direct marketing, and covert advertising. So there are several benefits of using advertising as a marketing communication tool. Now, advertising, it helps the company introduce existing and new products to the public. It helps the consumers, helps the company make the consumers aware about the existence of current products or launch of new products. It also helps in creating consumer awareness as to where the product can be procured from and what price. So the details regarding the products, its availability, etc. is made clear to the consumer through advertising. So it not only helps in introducing new products, it also helps give in consumers the correct information regarding the product as to what the price would be, where it can be procured from, etc. Advertising also makes the product stand out against competitors' products. So it helps as a medium, or it helps as a tool that will help you to differentiate your product from your competitors. So if your advertisement is one that is completely different or revolutionary when compared to the advertisement of your competitors, that will help your product stand out against the competitors' products. Now, advertising also helps build reputations for companies' goods and services, and it also finally supports the sales personnel or the department, sorry, the personnel in the sales department to carry out sales effectively. So there are various steps towards advertising. It starts off with knowing the objective of advertising. One should first of all know what is the purpose or objective of advertising. That is, what is the message that needs to be delivered to the consumers or the target audience. Now that has to be first of all known very clearly. So the first step towards advertising is knowing what the message to be delivered to the audience is. The second step in advertising is research. Now, in research, it involves finding out the market behavior. That specifically, we are trying to find out the behavior of our competitors. Then, what kinds of advertising systems they are using, and what is the response of the consumers to these advertisements, and the availability of resources needed in developing such an advertisement. So such kinds of research is being carried out. We specifically carry out research on our competitors specifically. We are trying to understand what kinds of advertisements they use, and we also evaluate the effectiveness of these advertisements, how effective these advertisements are in creating and maintaining market share for our competitors. Now, we will identify those kinds of advertisements which are doing well in the market and use it as a benchmark. So research is very important to know what are the different kinds of advertisements used, what are the different messages communicated by our competitors, and how we can create an advertisement that is different from our competitors. And also in research, we are also trying to understand or identify the resources that will be needed for creating such a advertisement. The third step is identifying the target audience. And the target customer is a set of customers who are most likely to buy your products. So it is based upon identification of this particular target audience that you choose the correct media, choose the correct kind of type of advertising, etc. So identifying target audience or the set of customers who are most likely to buy your products is very, very important. Take for example the case of the product health drinks for growing kids or nutritional drinks for growing kids. Now there the target customers will be the parents who are going to buy the product for their kids, not the kids who are going to drink that particular health drink. So the target customer is basically the person who's actually going to make the purchase rather than the person who's going to end up using that particular product. So the target audience identification is very, very important, and it is through the proper identification of the target audience that you select the right media for advertising. Now, once your target audience has been identified, the next step is select the right media. Now, the media of advertising is selected so that the customers who are to be informed about the product are made aware of that particular product. Your choice of the advertising media, whether it be print, broadcast, outdoor advertising, direct marketing, etc. So all these different kinds of tools, your choice of the different types or the media depends upon who your target audience is. For example, if you are creating a product for very old people, now their access to their usage of media, broadcast media, will be generally very limited. They would rather be influenced by advertisements through media which they are most commonly using. For example, print advertising through newspapers. That might be more, that might reach your target audience of an older population much easier than using direct marketing like mails, etc. So your media selection depends upon the nature of your target audience. Now the selection of media, as I told you, depends upon the factors such as your target audience, their characteristics, and it also depends upon the desired reach, frequency, impact, etc. So the reach of different kinds of media are different. Broadcast media has a very wide reach, and direct marketing has an even wider range. So the right choice of media selection is very important. That's the fourth steps towards advertising. The next step in advertising is setting the advertising budget. Now, advertising budgets has to be planned so that there is no shortage of funds or excess of funds during the process of advertising. The right amount should be budgeted for advertising. Now, the next step after setting the advertising budget is designing and creating an ad. And this particular process starts off with generally copywriters of an advertising agency, first of all, creating the outline for an advertisement on paper. So copywriters are basically people who conceive ideas regarding advertisements, and they usually outline their ideas on pieces of paper. And then these ideas are then actually converted into ads or advertisements, And this particular actual creation of ad is done with the help of art directors and other creative personnel. Now, the creation and designing of an advertisement or an ad can be done either internally by the company themselves, or in most cases, the creation and design of an advertisement is basically given for an advertising agency who specializes in that particular process. So that is a sixth step in advertising, that is designing and creating an ad. Now, once the advertisement has been designed, that it has been created and developed, the next step is the placing and timing these ads in the right manner. Now, the proper placement of ad is very, very essential for maximum visibility. For example, that is specifically true in the case of outdoor advertisements, print advertisements, etc. Now, print advertisements, I can give you specific examples as to how proper placement will give you maximum visibility. Take the case of advertisements in newspapers. Now, newspapers, most of the people, they have a tendency to see what is at the front and what is at the back page of a newspaper. That is the most viewed page of a newspaper. So advertisements that are placed at the front specifically or the back cover are the ones that are most likely to be viewed. So proper placement of ad is essential for maximum visibility. And correspondingly, proper timing of ad, that is especially true in the case of broadcast advertisements. Now, timing of an ad is also essential for maximum visibility in the case of broadcast advertisements. Examples: if you're giving an advertisement during a time where the number of viewers viewing a particular broadcast media is very low, then your reach or visibility for that particular advertisement will be generally low. That is why you see most of the advertisements or most of the larger companies preferring their products to be advertised in broadcast media during the night time. That is when most of the people are in front of the televisions. So proper timing and proper placement of ads is very, very essential to ensure maximum reach and maximum visibility. So that is the seventh step towards advertising. Then eighth step is execution, where finally the ad is released with correct and clear message, with perfect placement and perfect timing. Once the ad has been created and once you have verified that that created ad, it communicates the correct and clear message, and once you have decided what is a proper placement and what is the proper timing required for the ad, then you finally release that particular ad. That is what you do in step number 8, called execution. The step number 9 is basically a process of performance evaluation, and the last step in advertising is to judge whether the performance of the ad in terms of response from the consumers. Now, this particular evaluation looks at if the ad has reached all the targeted people, and it also evaluates whether the ad was competent enough when compared to our competitors' advertisements. So you judge the performance of the ad in terms of responses from the consumers. And if an ad has been effective, it would clearly be reflected in the sales numbers or the number of enquiries for a particular product. So evaluation of the performance of an advertisement is very essential, and it's based upon the evaluation that you think about modifying advertisements or changing the message that is delivered through advertisements. Now, coming to the next topic, that is the next marketing communication tool that is commonly used: sales promotion. Now, sales promotion, it encompasses all the activities that are helpful in the development of sales or increase of demand level for a product in a very short duration or very quickly. So all the activities that are aimed at development of sales or increase of demand for a product or a service over a very short duration, we call it as sales promotion activities, and it includes all marketing activities other than personal selling, advertising and publicity that stimulate consumer purchasing or dealer effectiveness, such as displays, shows and exhibitions, demonstrations, and various non-recurrent selling efforts which are not part of the ordinary routine. So all marketing other activities other than personal selling, advertising, and publicity that are aimed to stimulate consumer purchasing or dealers' effectiveness. And such activities includes carrying out displays, shows, and exhibitions like the auto car show, the auto expos, etc., demonstrations of products and services, and various non-recurrent or non-repeated selling efforts which are not part of the ordinary routine. They constitute sales promotion. Now, the major objectives of sales promotion. There are four major objectives for carrying out sales promotion. The very first objective is to introduce. It helps in the introduction of new products into the market. Now, sales promotion helps in introduction of new products by carrying out distribution of free samples of new products for the consumers to try out. So this particular process of distribution of free samples to consumers or to potential consumers may help the consumer have a taste of the product, and this particular sampling might result in a consumer regularly purchasing a product later on. So consumers, by distribution of free samples to the consumers may develop a taste for that particular product and later buy it on a routine basis. So the very first objective of sales promotion is to help introduce new products and helps consumers sample new products firsthand. The second objective of sales promotion is to attract new customers and retain existing ones. So consumers are generally attracted towards products that offer greater discounts, gifts, prices, etc. on buying that particular product. So if a company has to retain its existing customers in the face of competition, and if it has to attract new customers, it will have to offer something that its competitors do not. So consumers might be given offers, discount offers, might be given gifts, prices, etc. so that existing customers are retained, and also potential customers who are customers of competitor products may move into your company or buy your products. So attracting new customers and retaining existing ones. To carry out this particular objective, sales promotion activities help. The third objective of sales promotion is to maintain sales of seasonal products. Now there are seasonal products whose demands are seasonal in nature. For example, products like air conditioners, refrigerators, coolers, umbrellas, etc. Now their demand is usually very high during a certain time period of a year. For example, take the case of air conditioners. The demand for air conditioners generally spike towards the summer season, where it becomes very essential that consumers have, say, better air conditioned environment where they live in or where they work in. So certain kinds of products, their demands are seasonal in nature, and to maintain this particular demand for the product throughout the whole year, what they do is these products are usually sold off at off-season discounts so that the demand for the product remains more or less even throughout the year. So to maintain sales of these kinds of seasonal products, normally manufacturers give off-season discounts. So sales promotion activities are also aimed at maintaining a stable level of sales for seasonal products whose demands are seasonal in nature. And the last major objective of sales promotion is to meet challenges of competition. Now, competition usually comes out with new products, or they might come out with improvements to existing products. So this new product addition to the market and improvement of existing products in the market by the competitors will pose a challenge to a company. So sales promotion measures, it basically helps the company meet the challenges of the competition and retain market share. Now coming to the sales promotion methods which are commonly used. The sales promotion methods are classified into 5. They are consumer promotion, trade promotion, sales force promotion, carrying out product demonstration, conferences, exhibitions, etc., and displays. Now, the very first kind of promotion technique or promotion method is called as consumer promotion, where consumers are given certain benefits and persuaded to purchase a product. Now, this persuasion comes in the form of offered discounts, money refunds being offered, carrying out competition, contests, etc. So such kinds of offers or persuasions basically can persuade the consumers to make a purchase. So when a product is given off at 40% discount, say on its MRP, then such kinds of products are generally preferred by consumers. Similarly, providing them with contests, lucky draws, etc. So consumers in such cases are persuaded to make a purchase. So whenever the sales promotion is targeted at making the consumers or persuading the consumers to make a purchase, such kinds of sales promotion efforts are together collectively referred to as consumer promotion efforts. And they include offering discounts, offering money refunds to customers, offering contests and competitions to customers, etc. Now, the next sales promotion method is the trade promotion, where the efforts are taken by the company to stimulate the distributors, the wholesalers, the retailers, and other intermediaries that are involved in the supply chain. So in trade promotion, efforts of distributors, wholesalers, and other intermediaries, retailers are stimulated by offering these intermediaries certain benefits. Now, the benefits that are given to these intermediaries include allowances, discounts, free holiday trips, etc. So, an example for trade force promotion would be the case where if an intermediary, like say a wholesaler, distributes a certain amount or sells a certain amount of products in a certain time period, say 10,000 units of product X in a period of 1 month, then they might be given an offer that if you sell such and such amounts in such and such time, then the next 10 products might be completely offered as free. So these kinds of allowances, discounts, free holiday trips, which are given to the intermediaries involved in the supply chain or the transfer of product from the producer to the consumer. So when this promotion or when these sales promotion activities are targeted at the intermediaries, those kinds of sales promotion activities are referred to as trade promotion activities. The third method is called as sales force promotion. Now in sales force promotion, the efforts of the sales personnel of the company are stimulated by giving them bonuses, contests, holiday trips, etc. So here the efforts are concentrated upon stimulating the sales personnel in carrying out more sales for that particular product. So these are the major 3 methods for sales promotion, where you promote or persuade the consumers to buy products by offering them certain benefits. Such efforts are generally called as consumer promotion. Second set of sales promotion methods are targeted at the intermediaries, where benefits are given to the intermediaries which stimulate them. And the third set of activities are targeted at the sales personnel of the company or of the organization, and such kinds of efforts are generally referred to as sales force promotion. The fourth important sales promotion method is called as product demonstration and conferences. Now here, fairs and exhibitions may be organized by the company at local, regional, national, or international levels to introduce new products, demonstrate the products, and explain special features and usefulness of the product. This is where you see auto expos, tech expos, etc. being carried out, defense expo, etc. So that is where the different companies that work in that particular genre or that particular line of business. For example, if you are going to a defense equipment exhibition, then you'll have large number of companies that produce different kinds of defense equipments exhibiting their products and demonstrating their products to potential customers. So product demonstrations and conferences all are also part of sales promotion. So it also forms another important method for sales promotion. Now the last method is by display, and this involves installation of displays at points of sale, like using posters, banners, placards, leaflets, etc. So these kinds of display are also means of sales promotion. So these are the five major or the five important sales promotion methods. They are consumer promotion, trade promotion, sales force promotion, carrying on product demonstrations and conferences and exhibitions, etc., and finally displays. With this, we conclude lecture number 1 for module 5.